Hello and welcome to the Watching Now special edition. This is our usual, well, we can say usual because we're going to do this probably more as well. One-off Watching Now, which means that a series dropped, we watched it all, and now we're going to talk about it. Because why the fuck not? Uh, this time around, it's going to be Echo, which is the new and this year only Marvel show that we're going to see. And we're here to discuss it with none other than Tom, who you all
Hey,
know, and Ian, who you also all know, for like introductions and things,
Hello.
and me, Lily K, who you also see a lot. So like, hello, we're here, we're
Yes.
Marvel nerds, and it's time to talk about Marvel. And let's start off talking about it in a non-spoilery way, just like your overall thoughts on it. Like, how did you feel about it? Was it good? Not good? Like, let's get that out of the way, and then we can get into the spoiler talk. So we're gonna start off with Tom.
I thought it was good. Nothing that I would say was like excellent. Like overall, there was a few fun scenes. Some characters did really, really well for me. Had a few laughs. It was interesting how they started to tie in some like more street level mythology, I guess, and
Mm-hmm.
like mysticism into like the street level stuff. I didn't really like it at the beginning because I thought this was just going to be street stuff, not magic shit. But it grew on me a bit by the end.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but overall, nothing amazing, but not terrible. Like I've seen worse shows, and I've seen better ones, but still a fun time, I think.
Good. Yeah. Ian.
I freaking loved it. I
Ooh.
absolutely, I really loved it. I really was up for a smaller show with not as big stakes as end of the world proportions,
Mm-hmm.
and this is exactly what we got. It was street level, and I was itching for another one of those Netflix type shows where it was just all self-contained, more or less, and with interesting characters and interesting plot. For like a big Rebel Moon sized length, but so much better on in every single regard.
That's not
Um,
hard.
no, it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
But it was around 3 hours
Uh,
ish, three and a half maybe,
Three and a
yeah.
half. Yeah.
and I loved every single minute of it.
Mm-hmm. Same here. I had fun with it. I was excited for what's gonna happen in the next episode, and I think because there's a conversation on social media, or at least I saw a lot of tweets where like it needed 6 episodes. I don't think it did. I think that it was very self-contained in the 5 episodes, and it played out right. And I think that a 6 episode would have been not too much, but it wasn't really necessary. I think what we needed to establish this character was there and done very well. So yeah, it's not the most excellent show that you can watch probably, but it's first of all, it's a beautiful representation. Like, let's be honest, it's just wonderful, and it made me, like, I said it on our other podcast as well, that it made me actually look up the Choctaw nation and learning about it a bit more. So like, I think that a good show does that. Like, it opens your eyes to new things, and I think this did that. And Alika Cox is just fucking awesome, and I still can't believe this is her first role, and she's fucking nailing it.
Is it?
So yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So it's it was good. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. I think we needed a Marvel show that's more on this level again. Because let's be fair, we have Daredevil and things like that. So like, that's great. But it's nice to get it back into that whole like feeling and feel as well. So yeah,
It
good.
makes it
Good.
feel like more grounded and like human in a way, where
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
don't have like stupid CGI monster fights at the
yeah.
end of
You
every
don't need it.
episode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You
Um,
don't need it.
I just want to jump up like how you said that you don't think it needs one more episode. I would have liked it just for a bit more like character building for some of the other characters. like
Maybe.
her
Yeah.
like with her cousin, her grandmother, and like her uncle had the roller rink. Maybe just like another episode where like we learned more about them, so because like, I didn't feel as attached as I wanted to them. Like I still was like, yeah, but I'm like, I wish I could have gotten a bit more of them. But I understand, so the story that they wanted to tell didn't need it. It would have just been like an extra bit. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
feel
just
like that. I agree because biscuits is the best. Let's just put it out there. So
fair.
it would have been nice to get to know them a bit better. But I think that this gives them the opportunity to do that again. Like, I think
Yeah.
we can maybe even get a second season.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Let's talk spoilers because I already mentioned someone who's, not that well known
Biscuits.
just yet. Biscuits is the best.
Biscuits.
So yeah, let's talk about spoilers. This is spoiler talk from now on. So if you haven't watched the show, go watch it and then come back and watch us because we are funny. I haven't said shut
Yeah.
up, Tom, in like ever.
Like
I think that's a new record for us.
I was gonna say, like my soul's been healing, my emotions are coming back to normal. Like, it's so freeing to not be told to shut up and fuck off all the time. It's like, it's amazing.
And then there it is.
Nirvana, even.
Oh, yeah, but then you do talk like that, so.
But anyway, spoiler talk of Echo. This is the point where we're going to mention all the spoilers that's in the series. So, first episode is more like
Yes.
a recap kind of
Yeah.
episode, but in a
30
very
minutes.
good way, I think.
As I was watching it, I thought like, oh, this like new scenes, we get new perspectives. But then I'm like, was this the Hawkeye scenes? Is this just stripped straight from Hawkeye? And it felt like for the first 30 minutes, I was like, I understand why they had to do it, but I was also like, could you have like just shot at different angles to make it look different? That was just like my big takeaway from like the whole 30 minutes of recap. But yeah.
I was thinking like maybe one of you is gonna bring this up, but to that I'm gonna say like it's like it looks like that they can never do right at this point for Marvel because
Yeah.
if they don't have like the popular complaint now is that we have to watch too many things to watch one show, which is like to that I'm gonna say, bitch, you watch 15 seasons TV shows and then you watch the spin-offs of those, so like shut up. It's not that much, and then if you don't want to watch a show, then you're like, oh, it's not recapped enough and I'm not gonna understand. And now they do that.
Yeah.
They include basically the one show where Echo showed up in. Like
Sure.
it's literally just Hawkeye, and they include scenes from that, and they recap you by including them in this series as well. And people are like, "Yeah, why did you need that?" Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, "Dude."
Yeah. Like
It's marketed as Marvel Spotlight, so you literally give you everything that you need to watch this fucking series, and you moaning now that it's recap because you have seen those series and you don't want to watch it again. You're an absolute loser. Go away. Go touch grass.
Yes.
I
Sorry,
can't
Tom.
touch it. It's no, I understand. It's just like it. My thing wasn't like it was a recap. It just I would have liked it if they did the recap, but like in a different way, if that makes sense. Like show the same events, but maybe through a different perspective or something like that. Just like so, you still recap people on like here's what you need to know, but for people who have been watching all the series, that like they still get something new instead of having to sit through 30 minutes of stuff they've already seen. If that makes any sort of sense.
But I would agree if like it would have been like it's just Hawkeye content in the first 30 minutes, but they broke it up really well. I think
True.
like you get scenes from Hawkeye, but they are not long scenes. Like I think the longest they put in there was when she
Ronin
discovers
and shit.
discovers her dad dying and seeing Ronin and killing people in there, and that I think that was the longest one. And then we get a very tiny amount of Hawkeye in there, like I think it was like a minute or so,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Like other than
Shoot
that,
him in the face.
yes,
Okay,
Uh,
now thinking about that does make more. Okay, my statement is retracted. I've thought about it more than 5 seconds.
That's possible as well.
Wasn't
Yeah,
just not peer pressure. Just realized that I fucked up.
no, it's fine. It's fine. Because I honestly think that it wasn't too much. It was like the right amount, I would say.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't seen Hawkeye, I think they put it there like pretty well.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it wasn't overpowering. Like, yeah, let's put it that way. It wasn't overpowering, but we do get like the story of like how Fisk and Maya came to know each other basically, and we get to see like Maya's childhood and what happened with her poor mom, which
That was sad.
very sad.
Everything about Maya's childhood is sad in different ways. Everything.
It's a bit heartbreaking. I'm not gonna lie, like.
Yeah.
Wait, no, we need to ask, did Lily cry? Because that's how we know if it's really sad.
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, of course, Lily
Okay.
cried.
Lily cried. Lily cried.
I got the closest when young Bonnie goes, I'm coming too.
Yeah.
I'm coming too.
Yeah, that's why I broke off. Like,
That's what she said.
what? Shut up.
Still funny.
They're gonna cancel us. Like,
Yeah.
this is
Yeah, they would have done it. They would have done it already.
Yeah, it's true. Also true.
Probably.
Ian said some deplorable stuff before.
Not the first time. Won't be the last.
That's what she also said.
Oh,
no,
God.
she did to me.
Yeah. Shut up. Shush. You naughty bad boys. Anyway.
We have to remind everyone of the church you made of a specific ass. Okay.
It's a new religion. So.
Okay.
Why did you make the Church of the Blue Booty?
Because throne is love. Throne is life. May the blue booty live long and prosper.
That's not the franchise, ma'am.
Shut up, Tom.
And it just happens to be about the perfect blue ass. What can I say? Someone had to do it. Back to Echo, because we're here to talk about that.
Yes.
We also get to see a lot of like what happened with Fisk, how they came to know each other, and more so in later episodes, because here it's like we get that awesome wonderful scene with Daredevil,
Yes.
which was I'm just gonna put it out there, watching Daredevil from someone else's perspective, it's very fucking scary.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely. If you're a bad
I-
guy, then you do not want to come up against that guy.
Because he just appears out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just like they're just doing stuff and they just like whipping. It's like, what the fuck?
But, like, even Maya was like, hold on. What's this?
Hold the phone. Who looks like a devil over there?
Yeah. What the fuck?
But it's like it was proper scary looking at him from Maya's perspective, because we don't really see that much with Daredevil. Like, we're always following his point of view.
Yeah.
So like, looking at him from the outside, it was like proper scary. And I will just say it here. There were very many very good fight scenes in this series, but this was the best.
Yeah, good, well choreographed, definitely. I even the John Wick-y stuff before it as well, before Daredevil turned up, where Maya's just like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
And then has to turn it on to beat the shit out of all those people.
Very well done.
It was very cool.
Yeah, I will say one thing about the entire show, which in Katie, my other podcast host, brought to my attention, because I don't watch trailers. I'm like, they just give away way too much. So basically, what I know about Echo is like I watched the first teaser and that's it.
Yeah,
that's all I saw. And Katie said that basically they marketed the whole thing as this very dark, very gritty, action-packed, basically serious, and that's where she got disappointed, because it wasn't really that, like, it in a way where it's like it's there but not really. It's more like a grounded family level thing, and the action things are broke off, like, in different episodes. And I think there's even an episode where there isn't any action really. That's more like detective work, let's put it that way.
Yeah,
So I don't know how you feel about that. Like, that's
I would have to agree with your co-host Katie, which you can find on the podcast All the Films We Loved Before, or All the Films We Judged Before.
Yes.
Yeah. I would agree, because I also was under the assumption of it'd be a very like dark, gritty sort of series. Not to say that I didn't like. Again, I still enjoyed what we got, but we was in the back of my mind the entire time, just like, so when's going to be like the really like aggressive like fight scene where like there's blood and teeth everywhere and broken bones and stuff like that. But yeah, I think that is 100% like their marketing of it. Like they even they showed the entire Daredevil fight in a preview clip, like a few weeks beforehand. So that, I think that might have put the impression that like there was more Daredevil in some people's mind, but
potentially. There was only like a minute and a half of Daredevil in the whole series, and they did market it a little bit like Daredevil's back in this series, which is just a little bit misleading. But I don't know. I don't know where I stand on this, really. I think that it was definitely more adult than a normal Disney Plus series is. There's lots of more blood. There was in like the second or third episode, the guy gets shot in the back, and then he starts spewing blood up in the air.
Yeah, that was the third.
Yeah, it's not a kid show in those respects. So it is more adult, but it's not like the Netflix adult shows. And don't forget, like, you see Kingpin beat living shit out of people in it as well.
That made me take a step back. I was like, Jesus, fuck, he's just an ice cream man.
But he was an asshole.
He was an absolute fucking dick, though, wasn't he?
He was a dick.
Get it? He's a dick, but like also a bit over the top. Like you could have Stern talking to you, like, "Hey, one punch, not beat him close to death." Jesus,
you don't know Fisk.
Fisk would do that 100%. Also, let's talk about Fisk, because I think we need to talk about him.
We do need to talk about Fisk. He is excellent.
The best.
Vincent D'Onofrio did a good job.
He did a very good job.
I will say it here as well. He was born to play Fisk. I'm just gonna put it out there again in the universe, and I'm so glad that Marvel realized that, and they didn't recast or do anything shit like that, and they just brought him back. Like when he first showed up in Hawkeye, I cried. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I was like, oh, my boy is back. He's like, he's the worst, but he's back and he's great. Oh God. So I'm like, I was very happy. I was very annoyed with the end of Hawkeye where Maya shots him, but obviously I read the comic, so I knew that he's not dead. Like,
of course he's not dead. He didn't die on screen. What have we learned about the last few weeks? No one who died doesn't die.
Don't see the body, that even if they fall from a stupid high into a fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's exactly.
But again, back to Echo. We're not talking about that other one.
Yes.
my one complaint with Fisk in this entire series, I don't think we should have seen him at the end of episode 1.
Yeah.
I think they should have even like just not mentioned it, and then when he shows up in episode 4, wow.
I agree.
I think that would have been like a lot better. Not a lot better, but just like it would have been more surprising. So like if someone like Lily, unlike Lily, if you haven't read the comics, you think he's dead, and then it's just talking about, oh, who's gonna take over? He's this one guy, but it's like, oh shit, cunt's not dead.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. That was a choice they made there. Like, I don't think it was the best choice. Like,
they could have showed him in flashbacks up until that point.
Yeah,
because it was a big part of her childhood. Yeah,
that's it. Like, I agree. I don't think we needed that one shot at the end. Like, that's something that could have been left on the floor. Like, you don't need this. It's fine. But whatever. We already know from the marketing that he's back. Right, basically, because I heard that is in there as well. So
yeah, like I feel like that they tried to put all their best cards forward in the marketing, but if you kept up to date with it, it ruined a bit. because there was like less surprises installed.
Mm. Yeah.
That's just trailers and modern movie culture in a nutshell.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
For the
That's
most
why
part.
But that's why I don't watch trailers. Like, they tend to ruin the thing that they are promoting with it. Like, sometimes they just, reveal something that you should be surprised by in the movie, but you can't be because it's already in the trailer. So, like, what's the point?
Mhm. Right.
Teaser, and that's it. Like, it kept me well fed in the last few months, where I'm like, I literally went into a show, and apparently something big was in the trailer, but because I haven't watched the trailer, I was like properly surprised, like,
Sweet
what the
baby
fuck?
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Mhm.
wait a minute, like, just let's put it out in the universe, but that you don't need to put everything in your trailers.
Yeah.
We're still gonna go and watch the movie, probably,
Yep.
Maybe.
or your TV show. Yeah, make it exciting, and that's it, because that's all you need in a trailer. Like, oh, be excited. Done.
Show me colors and shapes and I'm in.
Yeah.
Colors, shapes, explosions. That's all you need.
That's
Shapes
it.
and colors.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we're in. Can we color it? Like,
Ooh.
Ooh,
Interactive trailer. You gotta color it in yourself.
there you go.
I would like to say that I felt like Kingpin was more like his old self. He was not wearing any sort of Hawaiian
Hawaiian.
shirt or
That's
anything.
that's comic book, Kieran. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Well,
that happens in the comics as well, and I loved it. And he can wear it.
potentially he can pull it off. Of course he can, but it felt like my Kingpin that I know from the Daredevil shows.
Mm.
It felt way out of his character to wear
Mm.
the Hawaiian flowery shirt. But he was definitely back to his brutal best. He might have had a little bit of a heart of gold for a bit, but he was back to his brutal best.
For Maya, yes,
Mhm.
because
Yeah, true.
basically
daughter.
Maya grew up next to him. Like, yeah, we can say that he looked at Maya as his own daughter, basically.
Yeah.
Surrogate daughter?
Yeah. So, it's I think they nailed the whole relationship between the two of them. Like, I didn't think that if when Fisk comes back, he's gonna be like, okay, you're dead because you're trying to kill me. So
Mhm.
I think it made perfect sense that he's still trying to hold on to Maya and be like, it's okay, you try to kill me, it's fine, I still love you, kind of in my own way. And it made sense.
She was just in this silly goofy mood that one evening, and like it was just an accident. I forgive you. Have some wine and some cookies.
It's up good.
And that's apparently dinner.
Wine and
Yes.
cookies, yeah.
Yeah. And they didn't even eat it.
No,
Like,
Fucking
why?
wasteful. In this
Yeah.
economy as well, Jesus.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
Down the sink.
That shows how evil Fisk is.
He abuses capitalism.
What showed how evil Fisk was when it was done with the sign interpreter. He just had a shot around the back.
True.
God, yeah.
I did, like, I saw that. I was just like, okay, so I guess that he's gonna do sign language by himself now. And then she gets fucking shot with the screen. I'm like, Jesus.
As soon as I saw her walking down a corridor and there was plastic sheeting in the corridor, I was like, oh no, something's going on here.
I thought they were in the they were building like Fisk Tower or something, and like they had this one room that was fine, and they were just building the rest. And then the gunshot was like, gee, what?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
He was done
because
with
she knew too much. She heard too much. That's it. She even says, like, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything, and done.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's Fisk. Like,
Fisk.
it can be weird for those who haven't seen any of the Daredevil shows, but that's Fisk. Like, he doesn't care. He's like, Fisk is the best. Just, let's put it out there. And Vincent D'Onofrio is the best. Let's, also put it out there. The other important part of the entire thing that we need to talk about, like, there's no point in breaking down the episode one by one because we got it as a whole. So let's talk about it as a whole. But let's talk about Native American culture that was put into this show so beautifully. I loved all the connections that they made, because every episode was named after the women that came before Maya, and how they are connected and whatnot. So what did we think about that? Let's get into them more, because I think it's a very important part of the series. I think they handled it with so much respect, and it was beautiful to look at and get to know this culture. So let's go to Ian first. What did you think?
It was very interesting. I am not any sort of expert, and I have not seen or read anything afterwards, although it did make me want to go and look up to it. So I'm not 100% sure it's 100% accurate, but with the splash screen at the end of the credits, where thank you very much to the Choctaw Nation for all your help with this, I have no doubt that it was done with an utmost of respect. It just made me feel like, oh, they've done this in the right sort of way. They've got everyone involved.
I think it gave the series a very unique feel in like the broader, like, that's just limited, like, MCU pile. It helped it, like, one, like, as Ian and both you and you've said as well, that they handled it really well, and it was like every part of the story, it seemed like it was always considered. Like, it wasn't ever an afterthought, like, oh, we have the thing and we'll just like put set dressing. It was like, no, this is an integral part of both Maya's story and the series as a whole. Yeah, it helps it stand out from the rest, and it goes against the other criticism of MCU of it all feels the same, it all looks the same, all that sort of stuff. It had a very distinct like themes, feel, look. Even like they had the Native American language in there as well for some characters. And while they tied in some mystical elements, which I don't know if that's like part of their culture, or if it was just made for the show. And whilst I didn't like it too much at the beginning, so I was like, as they explained it more and how it connected with Maya and the culture that they were exploring, I'm like, cool, this makes sense in a neat way. And again, it hopefully makes people go out and like research a bit more, because I think you've said before, Lou, that it made you want to go out and research.
Yeah.
And I think if big superhero things can do that and like get people to learn more and be more active in that sort of stuff, I think it's good. And I think this was a good first step in that direction.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think, and to answer your question there, Native Americans are very spiritual. So like, I don't know if what they put in here is a real part of their culture, but I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't get that far into looking it up, but I like it might as well be, because they believe in spirits. They are very spiritual. So like, possibly, like it made sense. I would put it like this. Like it made perfect sense that it's that heavily included. So yeah, I think it was just beautifully done, and it made it so unique and really different from what we used to see, basically. So it's and how cool it is, because let's talk about Maya, the main character of our show. How cool it is to have a person who is not only deaf, but like she also doesn't have one of her legs. And still, what I fucking loved about that, it was so cool in every freaking fight scene. I don't know if you paid attention to that. She always used the prosthetic leg to.
I did say that, yeah.
Every single time I was like, yes, use it. It's fucking metal. You can.
And there was like, there was times like she would kick, they'd block, and you just hear a twang, and then she just spins around and just like round,
and sometimes like intentionally she like even grabbed her leg and just went like just even harder to hit them, and I was like, yes.
Because that happened a lot in the episode 3 fight in the skate rink.
Yes.
Which, whilst I did enjoy the Daredevil one in episode 1, I kind of liked that one in episode 3 more. I thought it was like
it was a bit more solid snaking those guys in the paintball type place.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a creative use of like the environment they were in. She was using the arcade games, and just like the way it was shot, like every punch it like would jump to a different like that, and it just felt I don't know, felt more impactful, and I just liked how they would like incorporate everything, and
Fair.
I liked how different it was. Plus,
Yeah.
the blocking and the roundhouse kicking and the twangs and all that cool shit.
Yeah. But like, it's so cool because I keep thinking about that one scene from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Like, why don't you use your other arm? And Bucky's like, well, sometimes I forget that I have it. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and Maya's like, no, I have this prosthetic leg. It's from metal, so I might as well use it to kick everyone's ass. And yes.
You got to think practically as well. Her other leg is probably a better stance leg as well to like keep balance. So it makes sense in that sort of way as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I feel like the main takeaway is that Maya is smarter than Bucky.
Yes.
Bucky dumb. Bucky dumb.
Little bit.
Sorry to jump in on that, but yes, Maya is smarter than Bucky.
Yes. Yes. We love you, Bucky, but like,
You dumb.
He's the first himbo.
He's the first. What is it called? Kevin? Are we calling Kevin?
Game's the first Kevin.
But we still love him, like When
yeah,
Maya
we love
is
you,
great.
himbo murderer. But yeah,
no, he had a bad day. Had a bad day.
Bad day.
He had a bad day for 80 years. Or
that's a matter of opinion.
Yeah. Who said that? Not me. Anyway.
Not me. Jeez, Ian, calling out people's past actions, like don't let them grow. Jesus Christ, fuck no.
The entire
once they're
series is about
cancelled,
letting...
they're fully cancelled. They don't come back.
The entire series is about letting go of your past. So like, let's leave Bucky alone because he changed and he's beautiful. Anyway.
He's just dumb.
He's just dumb, which is fine, Maya, let's focus. Let's focus.
I actually want to go back really quickly to one of her ancestors that I really enjoyed. I can't remember her name, but the bit where it was done like a silent movie.
Yes.
The Light Horseman.
Yes. What was her name? Tuklo. Tuklo.
Yes.
Tuklo. One of them.
The Light Horseman bit with Tuklo was great. Done as a silent movie, that is totally different to what we've seen in any Marvel show, and closest to some of WandaVision ones maybe, but like, and the style and it was excellent. I really enjoyed that, and she was a sharpshooter. Wowzers! Boom headshot, headshot,
and done with it. I will say that I am glad because I usually don't like when they explain things too much, like it's too in your face. But I was really glad when they had the conversation with Grandma, and she explained like what every ancestor represents, because I wouldn't have caught up on it. To be fair, like you got your cunning, your whatever from this and this ancestor, and I was like, oh, it makes sense. I'm just dumb like Bucky.
Well, don't be, but I also didn't make the connection until, so we are all dumb like Bucky.
We're all dumb like
Bucky.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're Bucky dumb.
Bucky dumb, which is fine. It's okay. But it was, I would say that it was kind of needed to be put into words. Like, these are your ancestors. This is what they gave you. And quickly here, we can jump on something that we mentioned before recording. And it was from Tom. Tell us your theory.
Okay, so everyone has probably seen the theory by now that they're in this phase 4 and 5, they're replacing the Infinity Stones with new, like, powerful Marvel characters. So, like, Monica Rambeau's Space, Wanda Reality, Loki Time. I noticed that Maya, at the end, she has, like, these powers that are very deep orange, and she connects to the souls of her ancestors. So I think she's going to be Soul Stone. If that's the way they're going, she fits the bill, because that was also the one that we didn't know, like, who would fit, and that kind of, like, broke the theory a bit. But I think there's every chance that she would be the Soul Stone, even as Ian said, she's not as powerful yet, but she has to grow because it's her origin. But yeah, that was as soon as I saw the orange, I made the connection with souls. I'm like, yes, I see what you're doing there. You're doing the thing. And I felt slightly smart, but then also realized that everyone probably thought of that.
I don't think so. Like I don't think I've even seen it going around on Twitter or
Wow.
anywhere really. So quickly
Then you
tweet it out.
Then,
Quickly tweet it
then
out.
you heard it first right here on the Watching Now podcast on couchsoup.com. Become a member today to get more up-to-date theories.
Thank you.
Anyway, yes,
I
I love that
call
theory.
bullshit. I call bullshit. I call bullshit. I call bullshit.
No.
Why are you calling bullshit?
Why you
Just 'cause you can't do this?
explain.
Because you can't do this?
Yeah, that's true. I think that theory is wrong. That they're replacing people with the Infinity Stones. And anyway, but even if I did think that Loki was the Time Stone and Wanda was the Reality Stone, I really, really don't think that Echo is on the level of those guys to be brought into an Avengers type event. Maybe you are right that she just hasn't become more powerful yet, but even the powers that she gets, she might be a little bit stronger. She might be a dead shot in some places. What makes her become an Avenger when she's a little bit rogue, let's say?
But does she have to become an Avenger? That's the thing. I don't think she does. I
Because,
think
like-
and like what if she is the Salt Stone, like let's go with that.
Mhm.
Then I mean she already done it. Like she's connecting to her ancestors, souls. Basically, the final fight with Fisk is not even a fight. It's her going into his soul basically and being able to go into the deepest thing that holds Fisk back. I will also point out here that I really like that she tried but she wasn't able to bring Fisk to the light. Let's put it that way, because
How do you know?
Fisk's trauma is just way too deep to be cured like this. Like that's not gonna happen. But it shook him. It definitely shook him.
Something changed in him though, because he wouldn't have stopped if he
Oh, yeah.
hadn't been changed in some way. I don't know how much she got out of it, but she might have done something which could have unforeseen consequences. Consequences. Yes, one here, that one here.
There you go. We can talk. It's fine.
Yes.
It's fine. But like it's already. I think it's already, because what did we see from the Soul Stone so far? We saw Gamora and Thanos entering it, and that's it. Does it have to be powerful? Like powerful as like reality and whatever? Sure, but like, does it have to be as powerful as Wanda or Loki?
But
no.
Just piggybacking off that, even then, like the ability to touch someone's soul and like see their innermost like desires or like feelings, everything that can like fucking make people go crazy. Even like
Wanda can do that though.
Yeah, but like she's dead.
Yeah.
But you've already said that she's the Reality Stone, so you can't
the reality
flip-flop
stone
around
was
here, Tom. Come on.
The Reality Stone was liquid to begin with. She's just a liquid now.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but like the point being is like it's powerful in a different way.
Yeah.
So like just imagine like, oh, he's this bad guy who might have some good in him. She could just go and be like, all right, let's fix the inside or find out what's the problem is when you don't have to fight. And that could be like, if she improves it, that's where it could sort of fit in. I don't think they're going to like fully replace Infinity Stones, but like the Infinity energy from like the stones after they went kapui, they just found new places to be, because you can't really erase anything permanently.
Yeah.
They will always leave some sort of mark. So it's just like they're not going to become Infinity Stones, but they're powered by it, and they might be influenced a bit. I don't know.
I think it's possible. I don't think that it's a coincidence that they use the colors they use. They build up storylines they end up building up just to not have like some kind of connection. Even if like I don't think they're gonna become the new Infinity Stones, but they have some kind of special connection to them.
Yeah,
I get you. I don't quite. I'm not on the gravy train yet.
It's fine. We just have to see more. I think.
Yeah.
Like, we still have Deadpool 3 to look forward to this
Oh,
year.
jeez.
I'm so excited.
That's either gonna be the best Deadpool movie or the worst. There's gonna be no in between.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Look. Even if it's gonna be the worst, we have Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds in the same.
that
movie.
is
And
true.
Daphne Keane as well.
And Daphne Keane, yeah. So like,
Oh, true.
it's already a win. I don't care. Like, I really don't care. I'm gonna go watch it. I'm gonna have laughs and don't spoil the movie. That's
Absolutely.
the main message that Ryan Reynolds said as well. So like, don't do that. It's not fun. Let's talk a bit more about the final fight and where the show ends. What did we think of? Well, like I already briefly mentioned the Fisk conclusion of the whole thing. But what did you two think about it? I really loved it. I'm just gonna put it out there. And it was unexpected. It was definitely unexpected.
I would agree that it was unexpected. I think because of my bias of like thinking it was going to be the Dark Reader thing, I thought we were going to have like an extended final fight, like where Maya just like kicks all the ass, which we didn't really get. It was sort of like a whole like power of friendship, not power of friendship, like power of family sort of deal. So I was a bit like not disappointed, but like whelmed. Like I was like, oh, okay, cool. But then when they went to the soul stuff, I was like, oh no, this is actually what they're getting at. And it's sort of like, I liked that. But I think I would have preferred if we had a bit more of like a consistent final action sort of deal before getting to that good part. But yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed it. The bit where she does a little power stance. That's all I could think of it really. She does some fancy yoga and then sees all the ancestors behind her that she pulls from. Was pretty cool. It was like, oh, this is very nice. And then Grandma starts throwing punches. Good
That
old
was
Chula.
funny.
That was funny.
Like,
it was a bit
Bonnie.
out of place. I'm not gonna
it was
lie.
it felt very out of place, but I'm like, it's not the
I
craziest
can deal
thing.
with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Like we can handle some stupid things, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
So Chula getting the powers, like great. Bonnie getting the powers was a little bit more out of place for me because although she had a strong connection when she was a kid, they made it perfectly clear that she's paid no attention to her since then, and she avoided her for the whole fucking series. She only turns up when she's getting kidnapped. So yeah, I don't quite understand her connection with that. It's a blood thing probably and a family thing, but I didn't think Maya's connection to Bonnie in that, although she cared about her deeply because she kept away from her for a reason.
Yeah,
I think didn't quite get. They can't have been on the same page because they hadn't had a conversation for the whole series and the 20 years before that.
Yeah, I agree.
But then also she hadn't really talked to her grandmother for the same amount of time until episode 4.
That's true, but they had that heart to heart,
They had the heart to heart.
They had the heart to heart.
Had the heart to heart.
That matters sometimes. I don't know. I think I really liked that fight scene. The thing that I missed, and I think that's my only criticism, like big criticism to the entire show, is that no one died. Basically, like the only person we see dying is the one who betrayed Maya and her family, and no one close to Maya. Oh, and the interpreter woman, obviously. But no one close to Maya dies. What I gathered from the one teaser I saw is that the stakes are gonna be higher than we had them before, and yet, like, Fisk is he's not gonna care. He's gonna kill people. He's gonna do everything to hurt our hero or whatever. And they kind of implied it that it's gonna happen, but it didn't really. And I think it pulled back a really hard punch from the entire show, where I obviously don't hurt Biscuit because Biscuit is best.
Oh yeah,
but like
and Billy Jack.
Yeah, and Billy Jack, obviously.
I was
like,
so scared for Billy Jack the
I
entire
know.
time.
I
I
know.
was like, no.
They wouldn't have dared to do that. But like, obviously, because I think we can agree that it was easy to connect to these people. And I think it would have been a punch, not just for Maya, but for us as well, to see someone like,
Yeah.
or at least like seriously get hurt or something. But it didn't really happen.
Maya was killing people.
True.
Yeah, but what, like, I think some kind of, not even loss, but like something to establish that Fisk is this ruthless motherfucker, and Maya really fucked it up this time with him. Like, he was even going to forgive her for trying to kill him, and then she once again abandoned him.
I think the character that fits that bill perfectly is the grandmother. Like, if Fisk killed the grandmother, like, at the post office or something, like, after that, and then revealed to Maya, like, guess what, lol, she dead, sucker. But then she appears with Maya when she has all the souls of her ancestors. I think that would have been, like...
Yeah.
I think that probably would have hit that punch as well. But that's where I also think one more episode could have helped maybe build that emotional connection a bit more so that it could have been even more impactful. But because they didn't do that, I think it's still fun how it is. But I feel, that's why I initially thought like one more episode where you can explore her relationships with her grandmother, with her cousin, with her uncle. So like if they were to kill one of them off, that would be a bigger gut punch because maybe we'd understand their relationships a bit better, and that sort of stuff. But because I agree that like I was just waiting for someone to bite it.
Yeah.
Maybe Grandpa.
No, not Grandpa.
No,
not Grandpa.
No.
He was a pure soul. No.
He was great.
How dare you?
No.
He was. Did you notice he was the exact same character he was in The Last of Us?
Yeah.
Was he?
Basically.
Yeah.
He only turned up in The Last of Us for like a few
Like
minutes,
10
but he
minutes,
was basically the same curmudgeon-y old guy who just laughs in the face of everybody here.
He's the best. He's the best. Let's be honest. Like biscuits and him are the best. So no, but the grandma would have made sense.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like even now that you mentioned it, I didn't have that though. But like, imagine her biting this dust, but then showing up for Maya at the end in that moment, and still being with her. Basically, that would have been like, whoa, yeah.
Because you could have done that, and like if you added 10 more minutes to the final episode, have that sort of whole thing happen in like the first 10 minutes, and then like Maya has to come to terms with like losing another family member. She can still have that heart to heart with her mother afterwards, and then when her grandmother appears, and she's like, "Oh, cool, I've reconciled with you, and now you are with me," sort of deal.
Yeah, exactly. And imagine how powerful it would have been that she still decides not to kill Fisk, but to try and get to him.
I don't know. I think maybe she'd been through too much to overcome another loss and still have the inner peace to not kill Fisk at the end.
Yeah.
But that will just show like how she's grown from the start of the series to now. Because
Exactly.
at the start of the series, she was like, "My dad died. Fuck this guy." But now, like the same guy has caused another death. But because she's no longer so focused on revenge, and she's got in touch with like her culture and her spiritual ancestors and everything, linking back to the culture aspect of the series, that way it's like, oh, cool. So she's grown in a unique way for a superhero that it still makes sense that she tried to save someone's soul, even after all the horrible things they've done.
Exactly. It was still powerful, don't get me wrong, but like I kind of missed that a little bit, like to have something there that gives an extra to the face. It was still great, but like I was kind of waiting for something.
Death and destruction.
Death and destruction. We will have all of death.
Death.
Yeah, there you go.
Fuck.
Now you kill your throat. Well done.
Yes.
Yes. Before we close this down, there's a post-credit scene that we have to talk about. It's very important for the future.
Fisk for mayor.
Fisk for mayor.
We believe in Fisk. We believe in Fisk.
Yes.
If you go against Fisk, you get my fist.
Well said.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be, if because obviously we can assume that that's going to be a big plot line for the Daredevil series. If you remember Daredevil season 3, people don't really vibe with Fisk anymore. Like he's kind of like, oh, this asshole. But here's my counter argument. The blip happened between season 3 and now.
True.
Long
So,
time for some people. Yeah.
yeah, people are like changed. I think knowing that there are aliens about and anything can literally happen to the world, I think Fisk might have a chance. Yeah. And I loved
Well-
how he was like, suddenly just closing out everything else and just listening to the TV like, me, are you saying?
I had to laugh at that because the way they were describing like the idea of like a bare knuckle brute, the people would love someone who's just straightforward. I'm just like, I get that you're trying to like make sure the audience like tell the audience, yes, Fisk is gonna do this, but it's just like it's a bit forced, isn't it? With like all the descriptors that you're using. Not that it was bad, I just found it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are now very aware that there are horrible things out there, so maybe that's what they need.
Yeah.
That's Fisk. They describe Fisk.
Someone powerful, no nonsense.
And can give them the fist if
trucker.
give them the fist if they need it.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's him. So that will be interesting. Also, I don't know if you've seen the news.
Are you talking about Miss Deborah Ann Voll and Eldon Henson?
Yes. They are now
Foggy.
Foggy and Karen are officially returning for Daredevil Born Again.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah. I don't like Karen. I fucking hated her. So
Yeah,
like,
she is a Karen.
I had so many. Not the actress.
No,
Don't
I
come
like
at me.
Deborah more.
Character.
I love Deborah. I just hate that character so much. I'm like, I could have done without you, but like, oh well. Anyway, I'm glad she got the job because she's great. I just don't like the character. That's the main thing.
But little by little, I'm getting closer to seeing Jessica Jones back in the Marvel universe, and that is.
You can never know.
It's a for me. I do want to shout out one more thing before we go on to it. Shoshana Stern was one of the writers on this show, and as a Supernatural nerd, I recognized that name, so I went on to IMDb. Yeah, Eileen from Supernatural, and she was also Bonnie in Jericho. If ever you watched that a long time ago. But terrific deaf actress, made absolute sense why she would be one of the writers on this show, which was lent so much into the ASL and stuff like that. It's definitely not a show you can watch in the background because you need to be reading a lot all the time. And I think the depiction of deafness, although I'm not deaf myself, obviously, it seemed authentic. And I think that having some of the writers be deaf would surely help that.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, I just want to say, like, that's something I also liked, how sometimes just all sound would cut out. And, like, it's like, oh, so my, like, big fight scenes or talking something, you just nothing, and you just see Maya just go,
yeah. The sound mixing and editing was fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, let's do an a season rating. That's the one. That's what we were looking for. How would you rate the entire thing, Tom?
As I said before, and throughout this entire thing, wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. I enjoyed quite a bit of it. Fisk was great. The way they've incorporated the cultural significance of different parts is great. Maya was great. It's just, yeah, I felt like the pacing might have been a bit fast, but that's just a me thing. But overall, I would probably give it a 7 because, like, whilst there were those really good bits, it didn't stand too far outside of, like, the representation and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, a solid 7.
Okay,
I'd say
that's fair. I think that's fair. Ian,
I'm giving it a 9.
Oh,
look at you!
Really liked it then.
I really liked it. I really liked it because I was itching for such a small contained story with maybe a slower paced burn. I think I don't like this comparison in general because a lot of people are just using it as like a standard comparison. But because Andor was so good and so small and so like gritty, it felt like more on that level than later series of MCU stuff. So what I mean by that is that it felt adult. A lot of kids may not like this show as a
And it's not
Marvel
for them.
entity. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not for them really. It's an adult Marvel show, and it was street level, not end of the world stakes, but good story from with a beginning, middle, and end. And maybe we'd seen a pre-beginning early on, but I really just liked everything about it, to be honest. I'm going to give it one down because I think they could have gone a bit further in the adult way. But yeah, I fucking love this show.
I just want to quickly jump in. I would say that it's very different from Andor, which I agree. The comparison that everyone was making before the show, and even now, like, oh, it's Marvel's Andor. I think that does a disservice to both shows because they're both so different, and while they offer similar like tone, like a sort of like vibe, they are wildly different in storytelling, characters, theming, the whole 9 yards. So yeah.
Absolutely. And it only had 5 episodes to build that sort of stuff. So it could never have got to an Andor level, and it was done in a slightly different way anyway.
I'm gonna be in between, and I'm giving it an 8 because I enjoyed it. I was looking forward to find out more about Maya. I always love Fisk, so like, you know, that's always bringing it up a point basically. Anything.
Bring up a point for the fist.
Exactly. But like overall, it's a good show. It's a good show. Like, you know, it's a proper, really well done origin story. It's different from what we've seen from origin stories so far. And it's well put together. I don't know. Everyone keeps mentioning the pacing, but if I look at it like a very long movie, it was fine. I didn't have a problem with the pacing. I'm not gonna lie. I was okay with it. But like, you know, it had problems, which show doesn't. Let's be honest. Like, you know, but overall, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I didn't expect that I will enjoy it this much, but I did, and it's a good one. It's a very good one. So well done, MCU, and I am super glad that you're taking your time from now on with things because it's fine. We can't wait. Do quality stuff, not quantity, because I think quality is
then
much
you
more
get Secret
appreciated.
Invasion.
No, don't bring it up here. Shut up, Tom.
Don't mention Secret Invasion, Tom,
Don't
in front
talk
of
about
Lily.
I just gave Ian flashbacks to all those weeks, had to write articles on it and everything.
I'm gonna have Toppy, you don't talk about it.
I so wish there was a podcast. That would have been funny to watch.
No. I would have died. I think I would have died from a heart attack or something, like, you know. Ben Mendelsohn deserve better. Emilia Clarke deserve better. Sam Jackson deserve better. Copy Walters deserve better. What the fuck? Olivia Colman deserve better. What the fuck? We're not talking about that because I'm gonna explode. I'm gonna die on screen, and you don't want it.
Okay, I'm sorry for bringing it up.
It's fine. Fisk.
Salt levels returning to normal.
Salt levels returning to normal. Need to think of Fisk.
Fisk. Anyway, this was us talking about Echo in this one of watching now. I'm bad at talking about the promo stuff, so Tom can do it because he brought up something he shouldn't have.
Fuck you.
Fuck you too.
Well, so fuck Ian.
Okay.
You can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. Catch us on the CouchSoup YouTube channel and the couchsoup.com, where you can join up to become a member to get early access to stuff like this, where you can see us being dickheads for like 4/5 of the time, but 1/5 of the time we're sort of smart. Maybe.
Sometimes.
Yeah, follow us all on socials and shit. I'm sure it's down in descriptions or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Yeah. Promo. Thumbs. Hug.
Yes.
Champion.
Hug. And we're gonna be back with more stuff in the future, so look out for that as well. Because there are some very interesting TV shows coming, and we're gonna talk about it. That's just it's like a little teaser for you all, and that's all you're gonna hear from us for now. This is us. This was fun. It's always fun to talk with this dude about things that we like. And until we see you next time, take care, watch movies and TV shows, and bye.
Bye. What? Stop with the thumbs, guys! Stop with the thumbs!
They are coming to get you, Ian.
Fingies, sir.
You cannot escape the thumbs.
You cannot escape the thumbs.
Thumbs.